But our top story today, more charges of corruption now are facing the Uddhav government in Maharashtra. Today the BJP stepped up its attack by accusing the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi government there of bribery in transfers and postings in the police department. Former Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis citing a letter written by an IPS officer last year that demanded a CBI investigation. Still though, the Maharashtra government is insisting that their Home Minister Anil Deshmukh has nothing to hide. The BJP though is taking its battle now to the Home Ministry. Here's a full report on what's becoming a Maha battle.
Anil Vasantrao Deshmukh, the Home Minister of Maharashtra. The man at the center of a political storm that just doesn't seem to get past him. After facing charges of running an extortion racket leveled by former Mumbai Police Chief Parambir Singh, Deshmukh is under heavy fire again over an alleged transfers and posting rackets in the police force. India Today has accessed a letter from former Additional Director General Special Intelligence Rashmi Shukla to the State Director General of Police last year, alleging bribery in making transfers and postings. The BJP has now gone all guns blazing, claiming that Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray knew about the racket but allowed Deshmukh to transfer an honest police officer. While the NCP has hit back, calling Rashmi Shukla a BJP agent.
IPS और बड़े पुलिस पदाधिकारियों के ट्रांसफर पोस्टिंग में सीधा वसूली हो रही है. एक्सटॉर्शन इज बीइंग डन. हमें उम्मीद थी कि मुख्यमंत्री कार्रवाई करेंगे. दोषियों के खिलाफ कार्रवाई करने की बजाय एक ऑनेस्ट बहादुर महिला पदाधिकारी रश्मि शुक्ला नाम है शायद, उसको सिविल डिफेंस का डीजीपी बना दिया गया.
लेकिन जब महाराष्ट्र में महाराष्ट्र विकास आघाड़ी की सरकार बन रही थी तो रश्मि शुक्ला इलीगली सारे नेताओं के फोन टैप कर रही थी. उसकी भी जानकारी सरकार के पास है. उनकी लॉयल्टी बीजेपी के साथ है, इसलिए केंद्र में उनको बुला लिया गया.
Former Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis of the BJP met Union Home Secretary on Tuesday demanding a CBI inquiry into the alleged extortion racket and the posting scandal.
मैंने उनसे मांग की है कि इसकी सीबीआई जांच होनी चाहिए. होम सेक्रेटरी साहब ने मुझे कहा कि ये सारी चीजें वो उसको देखेंगे.
Home Minister Amit Shah, campaigning in West Bengal, has also waded in, reminding Uddhav Thackeray of morality.
मुख्यमंत्री को कोई सलाह देना नहीं चाहता, मगर नैतिकता का कॉल उन्होंने लेना चाहिए.
शरद पवार को कोई सलाह?
ना जी.
The Supreme Court is set to take up the Parambir Singh plea demanding a CBI probe against Anil Deshmukh. The court's decision could have a bearing on the future of the Maharashtra Home Minister. So far, the Shiv Sena and NCP have stood by him. With Sahil Joshi, Mustafa Sheikh and Kamlesh Suthar in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today.
And all of this came on a day when the Maharashtra Anti-Terrorism Squad, the ATS, claims it has cracked the contentious Mansukh Hiran case. Remember, Mansukh Hiran's body was found off Thane Creek. It was his car that was found near the Ambani residence in Mumbai. According to the ATS, it is suspended police officer Sachin Vaze, who's the key conspirator in the alleged murder of Hiran. And Hiran's case is the one which has blown up and has led the NIA also now to investigate the Ambani bomb scare. The ATS alleges that Hiran was killed while Sachin Vaze was on leave, but that Vaze was in the knowledge of it and may not have been present when Hiran was murdered, but could have ordered the killing. Earlier in the day, it came to light that Vaze had used a fake Aadhaar card to check in at a posh hotel in Mumbai a day before Hiran's Scorpio went missing.
दहशतवाद विरोधी पथकाच्या तपास अधिकाऱ्यांनी सचिन वाझेचा जवाब खोटा असल्याचे पुरावे प्राप्त केले असून त्याच्या गुन्ह्यामध्ये नक्की काय सहभाग आहे याबाबतची पुढील चौकशी चालू आहे.
Okay, as we therefore track what's been happening in Maharashtra, the big question first is the political question. As the BJP now steps up the heat, will the centre step in? Will the Home Ministry now take on the Maharashtra government? Is the Uddhav government under threat amidst reports that a section of the BJP wants the government in Maharashtra to be put under president's rule? Is there really any proof of the bribery in postings, or is the BJP creating a smokescreen to put the Maharashtra government on the defensive? Some of the questions that I will raise today. Clyde Crasto is the NCP spokesperson. YP Singh is former IPS officer from Maharashtra. Will be joined in a moment by Sanju Verma of the BJP as well. But Clyde Crasto, to you first, because really, when I look at this letter which has been provided, the top secret letter of IPS officer Rashmi Shukla, her report on August 25th, 2020 suggests there is a massive racket in transfers, brokers who are posting police officers in exchange for massive monetary compensation. 25th of August 2020, instead of acting on it, Rashmi Shukla is transferred out to an insignificant post, and the DG of Maharashtra, Subodh Jaiswal, prefers to take a posting at the centre. What does that say? The NCP has the Home Ministry in the Maharashtra government. Why did you all not act on Rashmi Shukla's complaints that there was money being exchanged for transfers in Maharashtra?
Well, a good question asked by Rajdeep, and I'm sure you saw the press conference held by our chief spokesperson, Mr. Nawab Malik. Now, the fact of the matter is, Rashmi Shukla has gone on to say that, these officers were transferred after taking money, so there's some cash transfer in lieu, that has happened. The fact is, there's a whole list of names that she's given. I'd like to repeat this name which I've been talking about in the last few debates that I did. There are 4 names which are top officers that I'd like to name them. Is Sandeep Bishnoi, Bipin Kumar Singh, Sanjay Verma, Vinav Chobe. Now these names and many other names are on that list. The fact is, these people have not been transferred yet. There's no transfer. So if you're going to give a list and those people have not been transferred, so why should there be a report on that, or why should be there an action on it?
Why was there no inquiry? Why did the Maharashtra... where was the inquiry? There is no evidence of any inquiry being conducted. Instead, the Director General of Police Maharashtra State chose to transfer himself to the centre.
Rajdeep, when these things were not valid, the inquiry was done, found out, and that's what no action was taken, because nothing of this sort has happened. In 2017, this same lady, did some, same kind of a report, gave it to the Fadnavis government. What did they do? They did nothing about it. Show us what they've done. We'll go by it. My point is very, very clear, Rajdeep. Whatever it may be, the BJP is saying that, there should be a probe. We are also saying let there be a probe. We are going on screaming, shouting and all that. Let it be. Tomorrow the Supreme Court is going to take a look at everything. It's on the doorsteps of the Supreme Court. Let's go by it. We have given a point-to-point rebuttal. They've given a point-to-point rebuttal. Every day they come up with something. And we tell them, first they said there was a press conference held. We said, well, he was walking out of the hospital. And that's when some journalists asked him. He sat and spoke to them. They said, Vazay met him. We said that he was in isolation at home. You want to look at the CCTV records? Mr. Parambir Singh is asking for CCTV records. Fair enough. Let's see the CCTV records whether he met. Then they said there was a movement, and towards the end of the press conference, Mr. Fadnavis says that, well, there is notification of the movement, but whether Mr. Deshmukh actually went there or not, I don't know.
Mr. Crasto, your government has not even ordered a basic inquiry as yet. If you are so confident that your Home Minister is not involved in a transfer and posting racket, if he did not ask for 100 crores per month from Mr. Vazay, why don't you order a full and fair inquiry?
No, anybody can write a letter, make an allegation. I mean, people can just write letters and you go and make inquiries on that.
No, sir, 1 minute. Just a minute, Sanju Verma. The police commissioner of Mumbai, Mr. Parambir Singh, after being transferred, writes the letter. This is not just some ordinary individual. This is the top cop. Just a minute, sir. Yes. 1 minute. Rashmi Shukla is a senior IPS officer. She makes these allegations. Are you going to dismiss all of those allegations?
No, listen, 1 minute. Let me now clear it out, okay? Like you said, Parambir Singh writes this letter after he's transferred. He's still in office as the director of the Home Guards. Why couldn't he write the same letter in February? If he knew about what he's writing in August, why did he not write a letter in August? And when Rashmi Shukla is writing his letter earlier, well, those people have not been transferred. I'm giving you names. You also can do the inquiry, find out.
Right,
And let
okay.
it come out in the open.
So, okay, but you know, Sanju Verma, what seems to have happened is Mr. Devendra Fadnavis seems to have decided every day I will release one letter, create some kind of smoke. Whether there is enough fire, we don't know at the moment. At the moment, it is Mr. Anil Deshmukh's word against that of Mr. Parambir Singh. It is Rashmi Shukla's claim against what is being claimed by the Maharashtra government. Now, governments cannot be dismissed because of allegations. Mr. Fadnavis today has gone to the Home Ministry sharing data over 6.3 GB. What's the intention? Do you want the Maharashtra government to be dismissed? Do you want the Home Minister to resign, or do you want to simply create a bit of, put the government under pressure?
You know, Rajdeep, I listened to Clyde very patiently and you've asked me a string of questions. Please extend me the courtesy. I will answer every question of yours very pointedly. Point number one. Why should the BJP want the Maharashtra government to be toppled? Maharashtra government, the Mahavasuli Agadi, the Mahavinash Agadi is doing a great job itself. You know, it's a bunch of contradictions. You said it's the claim of Devendra Fadnavis versus Anil Deshmukh, Rashmi Shukla versus XYZ. First of all, let me tell you one thing very clearly. Till 3 weeks back, Parambir Singh was Raja Harish Chandra's Murat for Anil Deshmukh and every political leader within the MVA. Today he's become persona non grata. I can tell you, it's not Parambir Singh. It's the corruption which is getting stinkier by the day, which will be the Beth Noir of the MVA alliance. Point number one. Point number two. Please understand that Devendra Fadnavis on the floor of the assembly presented Sachin Vaze's CDR, where there have been conversations between Sachin Vaze and the now dead Mansukh Hiran on 55 occasions. Mansukh Hiran's wife, Bimla, has in the Thane court said that she has enough evidence to prove that Sachin Vaze did not kill her husband alone, but he did it at the behest of his political masters. That is why last week, the Thane court said that the interrogation and the judicial custody of Sachin Vaze will continue even after the NIA custody ends.
Miss Sanju Verma, there is no evidence at the moment that Sachin Vaze did anything on the bidding of his political masters as of now. As of now, this is conjecture. This is pure conjecture.
Rajdeep, why are you in such a hurry to absolve the Mahavasuli Agadi?
I am not in any hurry to absolve anyone. I am going by the facts. I am not here like I am not a politician to make allegations one against the other, ma'am. I am asking you, give me the hard facts.
When you allow me to speak, and I am giving you hard facts also. The problem with you, Rajdeep, is that you cannot digest the truth.
No,
and something which
madam, the problem is that I cannot digest people who are rude. I am asking you a question. Please answer the question without being personal. I will not. Please answer a question without being personal. I've asked you a question. You said that Sachin Vaze was acting on the behest of his political masters. I am saying, please provide me the evidence of that.
Okay, can I now I will take just 30 seconds. Point number one. And please listen very carefully. We all know Sachin Vaze was suspended in 2004. His suspension was upheld by the Bombay High Court. Please tell me, why did Shiv Sena reinstate him as their spokesperson in 2008? Point number two, he had a fresh extortion case filed against him in 2017. Pure Brahmand mein inko aur koi nahi mila. In June 2020, they not only reinstate Sachin Vaze, but make him the head of the crime intelligence unit, flouting every rule in the rule book. Never before has an API been made the head of the crime intelligence unit. Point number three, Sachin Vaze himself has told NIA certain things which clearly point to the fact that be it Vaze, be it Parambir Singh, be it Vinayak Shinde, the other accused in the Mansukh Hiran case, they could not have done this at their own or on their own. Okay. They have obviously done it at the behest of their political akas, their political masters.
Okay,
and politics very well. Please answer one question. Please answer one question. The fact that Anil Deshmukh was giving an interview to ADP Mazha on February 19, 2021 is all over social media. Please call out that video clip of ADP Mazha of 19 February 2021. It debunks the lies of Sharad Pawar. clearly Sharad Pawar was not properly briefed.
Okay, you made your points. Ma'am, you are claiming that Anil Deshmukh was not under home quarantine. Ma'am, you made your point that Anil Deshmukh was not under home quarantine from the 15th of February as is being alleged. Mr. YP Singh, the fact is that while there is no hard evidence, and I use the word very advisedly, hard evidence at the moment to suggest that Mr. Sachin Vaze was actually acting on the behest of his political masters, that maybe whether Mr. Parambir Singh was in the knowledge of what was going on, all of this is in the realm of speculation. My question though is the manner in which, the perception clearly is that Sachin Vaze, to use the words of a former police commissioner M.N. Singh, is a Shiv Sainik in uniform. He was in the Shiv Sena when he was suspended, then gets reinstated when the Shiv Sena-led government comes back. Naturally, the perception is that someone is trying to protect or was trying to protect Sachin Vaze till the very end, that Parambir Singh, as is being suggested by the BJP spokesperson, was the blue-eyed boy of your government handling sensitive cases and suddenly is accused of acting on the behest of the BJP. In perception terms, do you believe that the MVA has got it horribly wrong, or do you blame the police leadership?
I think it's both ways, because first Parambir Singh was propped up by the BJP. He was made the police commissioner of Thane, where he brought in the very controversial encounter specialist Pradeep Sharma at the helm of affairs, and he was handling lots of cases. Perhaps the experience they had with Pradeep Sharma, they wanted to replicate in Mumbai also, and I think in the same fashion they got Sachin Vaze. Now Sachin Vaze on paper, at least legally, was reinstated by Mr. Parambir Singh. Thereafter he was given prime positions. Every day he was giving the best of the cases. He was directly being supervised by the police commissioner rather than by the hierarchy. Now, so many things are happening. If political hierarchy is involved, then certainly the link between that is the commissioner of police. So, and now when the commissioner of police has been transferred from, because of certain fortuitous circumstances, I think now the equations have changed, and Parambir Singh himself was given out of turn posting as commissioner of police by the MVA government, and now when he has been transferred, the basic problem is that people who are not above board, they are fighting among themselves. Circumstances are changing,
so
loyalties are changing, expediencies are changing, and this is what is happening.
You're saying koi doodh ka dhula hua nahi hai in this. You're saying both the police and the political leadership have much to answer for. Am I correct?
Rajdeep.
No, let him. No, ma'am.
Absolutely, because posting transfer industry is an open fact. The best of the officers were pushed to the worst of the positions even under the BJP government. What did Mr. Fadnavis do? If you only analyze the type of honest officers who are pushed in the side branches and controversial officers given out-of-term postings in the prime positions, the same what has been created by BJP is being done by the MVA also. I think, they all are people who are not above board, and because they have to carry the political expediencies, that such controversial things are happening.
Before I go back to Clyde Castro, Sanju Verma, let's be very clear. Transfer postings rackets, if there is one, and most people believe there is, didn't start in November 2019. It didn't start with the MVA government. Mr. Fadnavis was heading a government for 5 years with the Shiv Sena. Parambir Singh was appointed Thane Police Commissioner when Mr. Fadnavis was the Chief Minister. Let's be very clear about this. Today you are pointing fingers at Anil Deshmukh, saying that he was looking for hafta, extortion, vasuli. The fact is, the vasuli system, no political leadership in Maharashtra in the last 20 years, and I say this as someone who has tracked it for 30 years, has tried to stop it. That's the reality. Let's call a spade today, Sanju Verma. Forget the politics. The fact is, today you are taking the moral high ground when actually nothing was done by the BJP government as well between 2014 and 19 to stop the vasuli system in Maharashtra. It's an open secret. The chickens have come home to roost.
Rajdeep, you've said enough. Please, you will say I'm trying to be personal here. You are sounding like a Shiv Sena spokesperson rather than a neutral journalist.
No, I'm asking you a question. I will ask the same question to the NCP. The NCP will also be asked the question, madam.
NCP? Why are you modeling the Congress? Please ask tough questions of them rather than putting me in the dockyard. Let me tell you one thing very clearly. Since you understand politics so well, who are the two people who have been accused by the Maharashtra ATS in the Mansukh Hiran case? Vinayak Shinde, police constable, and Naresh Thare. Will you have the guts to tell your viewers that the bookie Naresh Thare is the best friend of Varun Sardesai? Who is Varun Sardesai? He's the man who handles
no relative of mine.
The media of the Shiv Sena, and Varun Sardesai is Aditya Thackeray's cousin. Will you have the guts to call Varun Sardesai on your show?
I will.
And Thackeray and ask them, what is the connection between Varun Sardesai and the Mansukh Hiran murder? Point number one. Point number two, who's the broker who was involved in the racket of transferring police officers? It was a guy called Santosh Kantilal Jagtap. Now let me educate you. Santosh Kantilal Jagtap is out on bail in a murder case since 2017 and very close to Chhagan Bhujbal, who's today the Food and Civil Supplies Minister in the Thackeray government. Will you question Chhagan Bhujbal?
I will certainly question all of those individuals. In fact, we've been asking for many of them to come on TV. They have been avoiding coming on TV, ma'am. But I will take that to Clyde Crasto. Ma'am, just a minute. Ma'am, just a minute. He must now answer. Producer, let's go to Clyde Crasto. Clyde Crasto, the fact is, and this is, Anil Deshmukh is accused by the police commissioner of the 100 crore Vasuli. You've got Sanju Verma on this program also bringing in Chhagan Bhujbal, the same Chhagan Bhujbal who has spent a few years in jail under serious corruption charges, who has earlier also been accused in the context of transfers and postings. And yet, Mr. Anil Deshmukh continues in office, yet the NCP continues to defend him. Where else? This is a police commissioner, sir. The police commissioner of Mumbai has, after admittedly being transferred out, made a very serious allegation, which he is taking to the Supreme Court tomorrow. It's not just an allegation made in the air. He's put it on mail. He's taking it to the Supreme Court, and the NCP leadership remains silent or ends up defending him. Why? Why are you defending him?
Okay, can I talk now, Rajdeep?
Yes.
Okay, my humble request to you is, to avoid me heckling anybody or anybody heckling each other, I request you to ask your person to, put the fader down for the person who's not supposed to talk, so that we can have a, sensible debate. Now, you laid this out completely. Let me tell you one thing clearly. Whoever's named, whoever's accused, okay, once the probe comes in, call everybody, call them on your channel, let the law call them, let the judiciary call them. We need to bring this out in the open. What I'm trying to tell you is that when a person, after he's transferred, after certain questions are raised on him, he starts writing letters, he starts speaking. He could have spoken this before, simple as that. And now that he has spoken, like Mr. Pawar also said, yes, he's made very serious allegations, and we all agree that he's made very serious allegations. So all this has to be proved. Now the Supreme Court is going to look into it. We are happy. And there are certain things that Mr. Parambir Singh has asked for. Even we are asking for it. Let there be a CCTV record coming out of this. We are ready for it. So why is anybody worried? We are not worried.
Okay.
Let there be a probe. Let there be a probe. Let's look into it. But the fact is, you said who appointed him, who appointed that. Well, there is a committee. Okay, there's a police establishment board which appoints all these IPS officers. Then the DG is there, in that ACS home is there, the ADG anti-corruption is there.
I come back to it. When an IPS officer writes a letter giving details of alleged brokers involved in postings and transfers, this is an IPS officer, it's not anybody. It's not anybody. It's not even your political rival.
Why did the IPS officer? Why, Rajdeep?
What is the and you say who told the IPS officer to tap phones? He was given permission to tap phones by the additional chief secretary of Maharashtra.
Where is the permission? Show me the permission. Since you are saying, I'm not asking you because you're just anybody. You are saying that he's got the permission. Then you kindly show me the permission.
Sir, I have got SK Jaiswal, the Director General of Police's letter. A report has been received from Commissioner with regard to transfers of police officers. It's a serious matter and necessitates urgent action by the state government. Here I've got it. Why didn't you all act on this letter?
Put it out in public domain that she's got permission to tap phones of people. Is that what you're trying to say?
She is claiming that she had got permission.
She is claiming.
Yes.
She is claiming. She is claiming. show us in writing, in written, stamp, seal, where she has got written permission to intercept private calls. Can she intercept private calls? Is it not a criminal offense?
If she is doing it to unveil corruption and she has got permission, will you then accept it?
If she's got permission, fair enough. Show us the permission.
Okay.
Show us the permission.
I have it on record from the...
Rajdeep,
I am going by what Mr. Subodh Jaiswal, the DG of police, has said. This is the letter.
Saying is one thing. Show us the letter where she's got permission to intercept calls, record private conversation, which is a criminal offense.
Sir,
show us that letter.
If the private conversations expose corruption, are you going to blame the IPS officer?
No. Let it. Yeah, I'm good. It will expose corruption, but all this, there is a process to expose corruption. Also, to record somebody's private conversation, you need permission. Whether it is for any kind of probe or whatever, is there a permission letter, Rajdeep? Simple as that. Show us the permission.
I will leave it there because clearly at the moment the NCP seems determined to defend the Home Minister, to insist that these charges are biased, partisan charges. We'll wait and see how this plays out. Thank you very much, Clyde Castro, Sanju Verma and YP Singh. I want to move from there to a police officer.